all. Now, today we will going to see about job evaluation and merit rating, revision lectures. This is the last chapter of our industrial engineering. So let us we go through the one of the famous video related to this. Okay.
Management. I'm Professor Kalidas to handle this session for you. So in my previous lectures, we have been seeing about the concepts of industrial engineering. So we have been seeing about the production systems, layouts, job layouts, and as well as the factory by decisions, group technology, cellular layouts, all these concepts we have been seeing. Now, in order to rate, in order to identify the performance of the resources in the industry, we went for work study and as well as time study. The work study is indicating the set of procedures which is evaluating your labor based on charts or graphs, etc. Time study, again, it is going to calculate the time taken for each and every job. So every job is being divided into number of efforts or number of elements. So each element is being analyzed by either by means of a stopwatch method or by using a camera. So you are going to calculate what is going to be the timing and what are the means and ways of improve this timing. So all that we have seen it in the last class. So in this particular class, we are going to see about job evaluation and merit rating. So now we have come to a conclusion that how to validate a particular person or particular labor, either by work study and as well as by job study methods. Now, are you paying the right amount to him as a wage? Now that becomes a question. Now you have a validation procedure of validating the duties of a labor. Now, are you paying the exact wages which is required for him? So we have to strike a balance between the job that is being done and the wages that is being provided to him. So what happens was, after his completion, we have to identify what is the right salary for his job that he has completed. So job evaluation is a method in industrial engineering to do that. So this is going to evaluate the job which is performed by the labor in an industry. Then comes the merit rating. The merit rating in the sense, so I am going to have a set of job for which job I am going to give the previous rating, and based on that, how I am going to make a hierarchy of labors based on his performance. I am going to rate the performance of a labor according to its merits. So this is what is the two major topics that we are going to discuss today. So what is the job performed? How he has done it? What is his wages? This is job evaluation. Then he has completed his job, whether he has done to his maximum ability in a hierarchy where he is. That is your merit rating. So these two things we are going to talk in this particular session. So what is the concept of job evaluation? In simple words, it is the rating of jobs in an organization. So in an organization, you can have a lot of jobs, like you can have an inventory, you can have a material handling, you can have the machining, you can have a quality check. These are all called as jobs Now you are going to rate jobs. Rate in the sense you are going to make a hierarchy of this particular jobs in order to know the value of that job. Why this has been done was, then only I will know whether this job is really required in this organization or not. So to get a final product, suppose if I have 10 jobs has to be performed, I am going to make 10 jobs to get a final product. In this 10 jobs, which is most critical job and which is more important and which is least important, so I should know that. Then I should find a ways and means to eliminate this least worthy jobs. So this is a process of establishing the value or worth of jobs in the job hierarchy. So it is going to compare each and every jobs. So out of these 10 jobs, it is going to compare each and everything, and it is going to say the worth of this particular job. Then the labor who is going to get this job done is going to be paid according to the worth of this job. So it means if I know the worth of the job, I can know what is going to be the worth of this labor and what is the amount that has to be paid him as a wage. So this is the idea behind the job evaluation. So basically, it is going to be a comparative process. We are going to compare each and every jobs, and we are going to fix the salaries to them. So this is what is the idea. So there are a lot of definitions provided. So according to International Labour Office, that is ILO, so job evaluation is an attempt to determine and compare the demands which the normal performance of a particular job makes on normal workers without taking into account the individual abilities or performance of the workers concerned. So what it is? See, every job has its own time, own methodology, own performance. So a normal worker, if he is doing a particular job with his normal performance, what is the demand that I can get? It is being standardized and it is being compared with the present performance of the labor. Again, I am repeating. So a standard worker, a normal worker, under normal circumstances, he is doing a particular job. So that is being standardized, and I am going to compare the present working with the standard job. So this becomes your job evaluation. So for this standard job, I am going to fix a salary or a wage So comparing to this standard, what is the performance standard of this particular labor? I am going to compare these two and I am going to pay him the wage. So that is the idea. So that's why it says it is not going to take into account the individual abilities of or performance. So it is going to determine what is going to be the standardization of a particular job. So that is the definition given by International Labour Office. Then the British Institute of Management defines the job evaluation as the process of analysis and assessment of job to ascertain reliably their negative worth using the assessment as a basis of balanced wage structure. So what it means? I am going to access the job. I am going to access what is the job that is being done by the labor, and I am going to strike a balance for my wage. I am going to have my wage structure I am going to have, but I am going to rely on their negative worth also. So when a job is done, it can have both positive and as well as negative impacts. So normally these positive impacts are kept in the mind to pay him the salary. So here what happens, I am going to access the job based on the negative worth of the job also. So the assessment has to be done both positively and as well as negatively. So this is one way. Then Kimball and Kimball has defined job evaluation is an effort to determine the relative value of every job inside the plant to determine the fair basic wage for which the job should be. It is going to have a comparison between the jobs. Suppose if you have 10 jobs, it's going to compare relatively to each other, and I'm going to pay him the wage. Say a person who is going to work near a boiler for a period of time is going to be paid more compared to a person who is going to work in a late and doing a particular job. So what happens, I am going to compare the relative value of the work that is being done, and I am going to pay the salary. So that is the idea of definition under Kimball and Kimball. So Mr. French, he has defined the job evaluation as a process of determining the relative worth of various jobs. The same thing as your previous thing. It is going to again determine the relative worth of various jobs within the organization so that a differential wages can be provided to them. So if you have different jobs, the different type of salary is going to be given. So I am going to compare the jobs based on few factors like how he is responsible enough, how he is skilled enough to do that, what is the effort he has put, and what are the working conditions under he is working. So there is some basis of evaluating this particular job. So that is being given by French. So in simple words, job evaluation is a process used to establish the relative worth of jobs in a job hierarchy. If we have a list of jobs, say 100 jobs, if we have inside an organization, it is going to determine which is the best or which is the most worthy job that has been done inside an organization. So it is going to list out as a hierarchy. So this is the idea.
Hey, what's up? So in the next 60 seconds, what I'm going to show you is how you can get paid weekly, monthly, and even daily by applying the simple little concept of Facebook ads and funnels. So if you have been on Facebook, you would have seen these little advertisements just like these right over here, maybe my advertisement right over here. So the simple concept is that you create these little advertisements.
So there are few words which is going to have with a word called job. One is job evaluation, job analysis, job description, and job specifications. So let us see broadly what each and everything says. So job evaluation is a technique used to establish the relative worth of job in a job hierarchy. This we have seen in the previous slide. It is going to compare the jobs and it is going to say this is what is the hierarchy of job that is being performed, and this is the most worthiest job. This is going to say that. The job analysis says it is going to examine the various components of the job and under various circumstances it is being performed. So here I am going to follow and I am going to criticize what are the circumstances I am going to do the job. And what are the individual things that I am going to do in this particular job. So I am going to have a bit of detailed analysis in that. The broader thing is the evaluation, but here I am going in detail for each and every job, what are the individual components involved and what is the circumstance that I am going to do that particular job. The third one is going to be the job description. It just says you what is your job was. That is, what are your duties, what is your scope, and what is the responsibility that you have to associate all this person by job description. Then specification says this is the acceptable qualification that a job incumbent must possess to perform the job successfully. It means that at least you should have this knowledge to perform this job. The job indicates a work. So you have to do this work, at least this qualification or this knowledge is required for you to do this particular job. So each and everything is varying according to its own contents. So job evaluation, analysis, description, and specification. Although it looks like same, it has its own way of explaining it. So that's why I have given this. So now comes to the objectives. See, now it is giving you a standard procedure to say the worth of each and every job. So if you have 10 or 15 jobs in an organization, it is going to say each and every job has its own worth or value. See, the logistics inside an organization can have a least worth compared to a machine. The quality checking can have a higher worth than the machine also in the case of precise quality requirements. So it should show you a standard procedure to identify and determine the relative worth of each jobs inside the organization. So next one, it is going to determine the equitable wage differentials between the jobs. So once I know this is what is the worth of a job, then I am going to pay him the labor with the equal salary. So job equivalent wages can be determined by basis of this job evaluation. So it can eliminate the wage inequalities. It means that you know the worth of the job, for his job worth I am going to give him the payment. So it is not going to have any inequality between the labels because they know the worth of the job. So it is going to eliminate the wage inequalities. Then ensuring that the wages are to be paid for qualified employees for doing this particular job. Then it is going to say you what is the incentives or bonus that can be given to him. Then it is going to have a set of references for wage rates. Then it is going to say if some job is having a relatively very less worth comparing to other jobs, then I have to know that what are the drawbacks, what is the problem in doing that particular job. Then I should go for either the training or I have to go for some education policies to the labor stating that this is where you lag it, so you have to improve your insolvent. Then again, it's going to be a benchmark for a career planning for the employees. It means that, say, if a labor is doing a job worth maybe third or fourth, then what happens was he will, in order to increase his wages, he will try to improve his caliber to go to a worth job which is placed at number 1. Now he is working at number 3, means that his job worth is going to be placed at number 3. Now what happens was he will make his effort to make it as number 1. So that is the benchmark for career. What are the procedures? So here I have different stages of job evaluation. So first one is going to be the preliminary stage. So in this stage, the required informations, the arrangements that is being made, the decisions that is made, and what are the resources available, how this program has to be done, what are the methodology I am going to adapt for this job evaluation, all this I am going to decide. So this is just here starting. So I am going to have a job evaluation. So what are the things I should collect? What are the information that I should collect? How I am going to handle this? All these are going to be decided in the preliminary stage. Then it's a planning stage. So it is being drawn up, that is the evaluation program is drawn up and the job holders to be affected are informed. So it means, see, if you are going to inform the laborers that we are going to do a job evaluation, so you should be careful enough to dedicate yourself for doing this particular job. So they should be informed such that your evaluation program is going to happen. The third one is going to be the analysis stage. So this is the stage where your samples of jobs are collected. So now I have planned to do a job evaluation. I have informed the laborers to do this particular job. And now I am going to collect the samples of jobs to evaluate the performance. So again, it can be internal or external evaluations of the jobs can also be done. The fourth stage is going to be the internal evaluation stage. So in the internal evaluation stage, the benchmark jobs are ranked by means of chosen evaluation scheme. Jobs are then graded on the basis of data bending, the collection of market rate data. Relative worth of the jobs are assigned by comparing the grades of the jobs. So you have the benchmarks. say a person who is going to do a turning inside a lathe, so he is going to be paid with say 100 rupees per job for an exam. So this is what is the benchmark that is being kept for that particular labor if he is going to provide this particular job. Now I am going to grade it. I am going to check the performance based on either worth or skill or time, whatever it may be. The factors may be any. So based on that factors, I am going to rate the jobs and I am going to have the evaluation. So this is standard, and what happens with this one? This is done inside the company. So already the previous laborers have done it and you have standardized that. Now this labor is doing, so you are going to fix in the wage according to the standard comparisons. Now it goes for the external evaluation stage. So what happens for this same job outside this particular organization, how it is being done? Say your competitor or your neighborhood company may provide for the same turning of a single lot. So you are going to pay 100 rupees, say he may pay 90 rupees or 110 rupees or 120 rupees. So for this particular job, what is going to be the market rate I am going to decide? So first I am going to decide within the concern that is internal. Now I am going to compare with the market rate that is going to be an external one. Now a salary structure has been designed in these stages. So I have made an internal comparison, I have made an external comparison. Now I am going to design what is going to be the salary for a particular job. So this grading stage, so again, as I said, as in the previous cases, it is going to be graded. Then you are going to prepare a document in the previous stages, but here you are going to grade it. It means that you are going to make a hierarchy. So now I know the worth of the job or the value of the job. Now I am going to make a hierarchy of the particular jobs. Then finally, you are going to develop and maintain the stages. So you are going to maintain the same amount of wage structures for the job that is being evaluated, and you are going to explain the labor. So this is what is the developed salary structure for this particular job. So you have to improve yourself for different levels of salary and all that you are going to do. So you can change his responsibilities, you can change his methodology of doing, you can support the labor by using the education and training and whatever it may be. So these are your 8 stages. So your preliminary stage, planning stage, analysis stage, internal evaluation, external evaluation, design stage, grading stage, and as well as development and maintaining stage. So these are the 8 stages for the job evaluation process. So what are the advantages? So since it is a logical process and a technique, so there is an equal and consistent wage and salary structure can be adopted. And that's what we are talking about. Once you know the work, you can fix the set. So since it is a logical and objective procedure, you can standardize the wages. Then of course you can eliminate the wage differentials, so which will help in minimizing the conflict between the laborers, unions, managements, etc. So nobody is going to say this is I have been paid with less salary or more salary. Nobody is going to say that, because you have a standard methodology of evaluating the job. Once you've done it, then it is very easy for wage administration people to just fix the job, because your wages are known now. So it simplifies the job of the wage administration. Then it becomes a logical ways of providing the wage negotiations and collective bargaining. That means, suppose if I am demanding for 100 rupees extra on a particular day, then as a management, what I will say was, no, as the salary structure, this is not the case to be done today. So I can negotiate the labor, and also the management has a open idea of about the salary structure, so he can demand for the wages according to the work that is being performed by him. So in the case of new jobs, again it is easier for me to fix the wages comparing with the older jobs that is being done. So there is a few advantages. Again with continuation. In the modern times of mechanization, performance depends on the machine than the worker himself. It gives the realistic basis of the determination of wages. Then the information generated by job evaluation may also be used for improvement of selection, transfer, and promotions. So, like in case of giving an incentive, so you can promote, or you can transfer, or you can select a good guy for a particular job. So all this can be the basis of the information of job evaluation. So here I am going to evaluate the job and not the worker. So this job is going to have, this is the salary and not the worker. So again, that's what the concept was. They are not going to evaluate the performance of the thing. The performance was evaluated in the work study and time study process. Now I am going to fix a salary for a job. If I am doing a late work, this is the amount. If I am doing a quality control, again, this is what is the wage. So I am going to fix the wage for the job, not for the ability of the worker who is going to do that. So, and there are a few drawbacks. Sometimes due to judgments, because it is going to be done by judgments. So because of these judgments and errors, that this may not be so much accurate. So sometimes what happens was you may judge the work or performance of a person because they are going to the so he may be subjected to wrong judgments. So there is a variation between wages fixed through job evaluation and market forces. Yes, this happens. So I am using a technique to fix the wage for a job. But in market, they may pay more. So your competitive company may pay person more for a particular job. So what happens was there is a contradiction or variation between the wages paid by your company for a particular job and the other company for the same job is going to differ. This creates a doubts in the labor whether to work in your company or to move on to the next company. So this drawbacks is an important one in the case of a job evaluation. Then if you are going to ask first, then the way feel easy to know that okay, jobs being evaluated and I don't know how I am going to. It may affect indirectly performance of the job, of the worker who is going to do. I say this is going to be completed within 15 minutes or 15 minutes, which if you complete this job, I am going to pay you 100 rupees. So 15 minutes, if you do a particular job, I am going to pay you 100 rupees. It becomes a pressure for the labor who is going to do that job. So his aim is going to get that 100 rupees. So he may compromise on few aspects to get that particular amount. Then this has been done not as a scientific basis, so this efficiency can again be suspicious enough. It's a time-consuming process. Then for management-oriented things we cannot decide to a maximum extent. Then the change in jobs and working conditions will affect the job evaluation. The way to do the same job but in a different location or different environment. So it is also going to play a major role. So further frequent changes and sustainability, all that is going to incur some amount. Some financial burden to the corporation. So these are few drawbacks with respect to the job evaluation. So what are the methods that I am going to use? So the first one is going to be the ranking method. Second one is going to be the classification or grading method, factor comparison method, and as the point method. So these four things I am going to explain it to you in the next forthcoming slides. So what is the ranking method? It's very simple. The different jobs, depending on their requirements, responsibilities involved, and the importance of the organization, are ranked graded and placed from top to bottom. It's like giving a rank for the highest total number, that's it. In college days or school days, you will be awarded first rank, second rank based on the marks that you got in the exams. So here also, the different job based on various factors like the responsibilities involved, what are the requirements important, based on that is going to be getting ranked. So this method is simple because it's a direct method. So it's very simple, fast, inexpensive, because if you have a countable number of jobs that is being performed, it's very easy to say which is you have a worthy job. So it's very easy. So easily mastered and administrated by the person who is going to rank you. So this is suitable for small organization because only small number of jobs are involved. You cannot have a manual ranking method for hundreds and 200s of jobs that is being performed. And there is no basis of comparison. So just I am going to say, so in a machining area, if I can say the operation which is done by a lathe is going to be more important. Just a rough idea I am going to say. It's not going to be an accurate one. So as a person, I am going to decide which is going to be the high-worthy job. So this is obviously not usable for larger organizations. It's a very simple, direct ranking of the job based on the requirements and the importance. So second comes your classification or grading method. So now what happens is the jobs are classified or graded into groups of equal skill, difficulty, responsibility, importance, and other requirements. The previous cases, I don't worry about anything. I worry about what is the importance of that particular job. But here I am going to grade it on equal skills, difficulty, responsibility, etc. So I am going to group it. The first set is going to be done very easily. The second set can be a bit tougher to do the job. Third one, again, it's an average way of doing it. So I can going to divide into number of grades. So either it may be a production job, sales, office job, anything can be divided into number of grades. So just for an example, I have given that from grade A to grade F. So I can fix how grade A is going to get this body study benefit, grade B is going to get this body study benefit. So A, B, C, D, E, F, I am going to say for each and every grade, I am going to fix the appropriate wages for it. But this is not going to involve a detailed job analysis, but it's going to be a simple one. Because the efforts or the skills, difficulties, everything is going to be the same. Just I am going to grade it from A to F based on the jobs that has been broken into grades. So it's a simple method. Again, it's fast and inexpensive. Easily it can be remembered. Again, it is not useful for larger organizations where not many jobs are involved. Again, there is a possibility of mismatches between the jobs. Okay. There is a borderline between A and B, grade A and grade B. Say, grade A is going to get a monthly salary of say 50,000 rupees. Grade B is going to get say 40,000 rupees. Again, 10,000 is a very big amount. So, yeah. Thin borderline drawn between the grade A and grade B, again it creates a mismatch between the wage and the grade. Drawback of this particular classification. So now comes the factor comparison. So till now it's been general, very general we have talked about. Now we have some factors to analyze. So the 5 factors, key factors which is used to analyze first the skill, mental ability, physical ability, responsibility and working condition. So allocating the salary among these 5 factors, so it will create a money rating scale for each of the factors. Then I am going to have a job comparison scale and it is going to be, a new job is going to be evaluated. So what it is, say skill, I am going to have some 10 jobs. And the first job needs a skill and I am going to pay this one. Second job needs some skill, I am going to pay this one. So I am going to have different wage amount for different jobs. So based on again these 5 factors like skill, mental ability, physical ability, responsibility, and working conditions. When a new job comes, I am going to evaluate this particular job based on the previous factors that I have mentioned. So let me show you a simple example. So I have already done 4 jobs. That is job 1, job 2, job 3, and job 4. So I have 5 factors. One is the skill, mental effort, physical effort, responsibility, and physical conditions. So based on these 5 factors, I have provided the salary. See, the job 3 may be a toughest job in terms of skill. So I am going to pay him 280 rupees. Job 4, in terms of mental effort, it is going to be paid more. Job 1, in terms of physical effort, it is going to be paid more. Responsibility, again, it's going to be job 1. So, according to that, I have given the wages. So, the wages are going to vary for skills between 80 to maybe 280. 80 is the least salary and 280 is the most salary. So, skills are going to be varied between 80 to 280. When a new job comes, that is what I have given as JE. So when a new job has to be evaluated, so between 80 to 280, what is the number I am going to provide for? So whether it's the least skill required or most skill required. So I am going to compare. No, it's going to be, say, I am going to compare the JE with J1. Okay, still it is going to be less compared to the skills. If I am comparing with J4, okay, so J4 is least skill than JE, so I have to pay extra than J4. So I can come to a conclusion. So based on the skills alone, so I am going to have a comparison between these 4 jobs, and I am going to fix a job for the new, fix a salary for the new job. So first job 180, second 120, third 280, fourth 180. And I am going to compare my job, which is to be performed with J1. I feel, okay, J1 is better than JE, so I am going to give less than 180. Then I am going to compare J2. Again, I feel that compared to J2, JE is requires less skill. So I am going to pay him less than 120. J3, obviously, I am going to pay him less. But compared with J4, can be paid more because J4 is required some skill, but JE required some more skill to perform. So I can pay him 100 rupees. So this strategy is being employed for all the other factors like mental effort, physical effort, responsibility, and physical conditions. And finally, I can say job 1 is going to be paid with a salary of 780, 660. This is what I have standardized. Compared to every factor, my final salary for the new job is going to be 560. So overall, I am going to have a less salary, less wage, but still I am going to compare with all the 5 factors. Okay, so this is how a factor comparison method has to be performed. So now I am going to put it in again in a different scale. So comparing these two. So just for skills, it is going to be 180, 120, 280, 80, and 100. So all the 4 jobs have been put, J1, J2, J3, J4, and the different salaries. And JE is going to be in this particular level. So when I go for the skills, whether it is going to be above the J2 or below the J4, I am going to decide. Again, this has been decided on all the 5 factors like mental effort, physical effort, responsibility, and physical conditions. So JE is going to be paid with 100 rupees for skill, 60 rupees for mental effort, 60 rupees for physical effort, 220 for its responsibility, and physical conditions is going to be 1. What is the job that is being evaluated? Again, it is being evaluated based on these 5 skills or 5 criteria. Next one is going to be the point method. So select the key jobs which has to be taken as the representative of jobs to be evaluated. So establish common job factors for both key jobs and the job to be evaluated. Again, give the grades, allocate point for the grades. Then again, you can break the key jobs into factors and grades, total of all the grades. can add the grade points on this application. How it's been done? Let me show it with an example. So here I have some factors like skill, effort, responsibility, and working condition. These are the factors. Now what happens was this skill again is being divided into sub-factors. So skill again, it needs some education and training, it needs some experience, it needs some judgmental and initiative ideas. So I'm going to divide the skill into again 3 sub-factors. Now these 3 sub-factors are given with some weightage. Again, 12 is the least weightage. So it means that for doing this particular job, experience is not going to matter much. I'm going to give you 12. Education and training, yes, it's important, but not as important as my judgmental skills. So what I'm saying, I'm going to give 25 for my judgment, 20 for education and training, and 12 for experience. So I'm going to allocate the weights for the sub-factors. The common factor becomes the skill. How I am going to obtain the skills, what are the sub-factors, and which is most important and least important, I'm going to give the weights. Okay. So, how the grades are being allocated? So, 20 is going to be the weightage. So, based on experience, I will say if a person is going to have 0 to 1 year experience, is going to give with G1. Is given with G1. If is having 1 to 3 years experience, is going to give with G2, that is 24. There is multiples into 1, into 2, into 3, and into 4. Again, between 3 to 5 is going to be G3. Bit more than 5 years is going to be G4. Similarly, I can subdivide this grades also. The education training, I can say he has done his diploma. You can say he has done his bachelor degree, master degree, or whatever. So based on this, I am going to give the grades. So this is how the point method is going to work. So till now, what we have seen was the job evaluation, what are the advantages, how it is being carried out, what is the procedure being adopted, what are the steps. We are going for the merit rating. So merit rating is a systematic and orderly approach to assess the relative worth of an employer working in an organization in terms of job performance, integrity, leadership, intelligence, behavior, etc. So previously the job was evaluated by the employee. There I made a hierarchy of the job and I am going to fix the wage. I am not going to consider about the employee's ability. But merit rating is going to say I am going to rate the employees on a skill basis, intelligence basis. Here we are making hierarchy. So this merit rating is commonly referred to as employee rating, employee appraisal, or staff report. It is going to assess the merit of the person doing the job. So how much extent he is going to cope up with the requirement of a particular job. And he may be awarded with all the benefits like incentives, wages, or any other factors that you can say, like free medicals or free education to their children. You can award him by any aspect. So again, what is the objective? Again, to assess the work of the employees in relation to the job requirement, to consider the employee workers for promotion, transfer, layoffs, etc. If he is not skilled enough or his behavior is not good enough, he can even lay off the person. So to access the good and bad points in working of employees and then making suggestions for improvement. So to help in wages and salary administration, avoid skill and training and to them. To know the problems that you might to help the maintain transfer of workers to the capacity, interest, qualifications. So to help the supervisors to know about their subordinates better. In this, all the factors, what we are trying to do was we are trying to judge the employee and his abilities. Again, to provide a basis of comparison of efficient and inefficient workers. So to help the supervisors to know the subordinates better. That's what we have seen. So how we are going to do this very treaty? What is the process involved in it? The first one is establishing the standards. So now I am going to talk everything in the perspective of the employee or the worker. So what happens was you are going to standardize the work performance. So this job by an average worker is going to do it in this particular time period. So that is when what standardized. So that standardization value is being compared with the performance, and I am going to divide it as good, bad, or average. So let me put it in simple words. Again, for a quality check, a person needs 15 minutes to do the particular job. So that is the average time period, what I am talking about. So this 15 minutes is kept as the basis. So if this person is doing in the same 15 minutes, or I can say 14 to 15 minutes, then he is going to be an average worker, or a good worker even. So somewhere in between 10 to 11, if he's doing is an average worker, and below that he has been categorized as the bad worker. So what happens? You are going to establish the standard for a job which is done by an average employer, and I'm going to compare this. This standard may be in terms of your quality. So in 1 hour, he is going to provide say 50 pieces. That's what is the standard number. Again, it can be compared in terms of quantity. In 1 hour, how much quantity he has produced. Okay, somewhere between 45 to 50. Okay, it's good. Somewhere between 40 to 45. Okay, that's I can keep in an average. Below 40, I can keep it as bad. So it is going to set you the yardsticks. It means that it is going to keep you the references. So first one, you are going to establish the standards for evaluating the employee. Then you are going to communicate this. You are going to say to the worker that this is what is the standard expected from you. So you have been working here, you have been normally working, but this is what is the standard. Now you are expected to work for the standard. So it's responsible for the organization to communicate to the employees that this is what is the standard and you should follow the standard precisely. Then go for the actual performance. Now I have the standard, go and measure the actual performance. It can be taken by reports, either it may be a personal observation or some graphs and charts, it may be reports, oral reports, whatever it may be. You are going to measure the actual performance, then compare the standards. What is the original standard I have given you and how much a person has been. So these deviations are being recorded. Now, is there any possibility of improvement? So what happens was once this report is made, we are going to talk again with the workers for his improvement. Where he is lagging enough, where he is doing good, what are the difficulties he faced, what is his attitude, how he has to work. So all this has to be reported or is to be discussed with the workers. Then you have to go for a corrective action. It may be given training, he may be given with advice, he may be given with counseling, assignments, coachings, anything can be given for a corrective action. So the procedure becomes standardization, comparing the original performance and improving the rating of the particular employee. So this is how the procedure goes on. What are the advantages? So since we are going to talk with respect to the employees, again it is going to act as a scientific basis for judging the capability of employees who try to improve their performance. That is sounds basis for the purpose of promotion, depromotion, or transfer, termination, or then it is going to distinguish the workers who is efficient and inefficient. What is the defect in them to be rectified? So whether any incentives or pay hike has to be given to the persons or not. So all these are going to be decided based on this merit rating. So it develops the confidence among the workers, so because this system is going to be a proper one and it's going to be impartial one. Then it provides a good relation between the employer and the employee. So it is helpful in stimulating and guiding the development of the employees, so pointing out the weaknesses and how to improve these weaknesses and how to improve and overcome these weaknesses. What type of training and facilitation required to do that. And also, the top management will have an idea about the judgment ability of the executives guiding these reports. So disadvantages, sometimes the rater may be one-sided. So based on one factor alone, he may simply decide. A person
Hello, our time is over. So remaining part will continue tomorrow. Okay, thank you once again to all of you. Okay, we'll stop here.